Welcome, everybody. FanDuelChoice.com, the daily hit and run show. Pete Cole here. Sorry about that little delay. I'm an idiot sometimes when it comes to computers, and I didn't have my speaker plugged in, or camera, something like that. Jeremy Burton's here with me today. Good friend from way back in the day. Jeremy, what's up, man?
How's it going, man? How you been?
I'm doing good. Good to have you on. You were on a lot last year when we used to do the Saturday morning shows. Before Saturday locks, then we hit them when we were doing the live before locks was like 6 p.m. We'll be getting back to those in a couple weeks. But yeah, really good to see you. Me and Jeremy, we've been in this game for what? I bet you almost 10 years now, right? I mean, back in the day, we worked together a lot. We used to build GPPs a lot. We've made a lot of money, especially back in the old FanDuel days when we were really rocking FanDuel. So it's good to have somebody different on today, some different guests. You guys get sick of probably seeing me and Adam all the time. So, and it's a good day. Huge slate today, 13 games. But first of all, your FanDuelChoice.com. Anybody that's watching for the first time, check us out, please. We have an Mlb promo going on right now. It's $25 a month, all sports included. So, and we've been pretty much rocking the sports right now. I just looking at the winning lineups room. We just had a guy hit for the NBA last night. It looks like we had NBA. Somebody won the actually Joe won the $12 pick and roll. Also, I think a couple of $12 pick and rolls he won. Also the fadeaway. Soccer's been crushing. We had one of our premium members win the big GBP and MLB there tonight. That was for like $20K, I believe. So soccer's been crushing. USFL tonight. We'll have content for that in our Discord. What else do we have going on? Golf's going on right now. Oh, also we're gonna have a Formula One show at 1 p.m. Eastern. I'll be on with Chris Besh. Chris is our Formula One expert. He's crushed every slate. We haven't lost a slate yet on that. So if you're new, even new to Formula One, because I've never played it before until the last show, and I cashed easily just talking to Chris on the show. So that's at 1:00. But we're here for a big slate MLB, 13 games. I brought Jeremy on today, especially because, and I'm glad I did, because taking like a quick look before we went on the show, this is a GBP slate to me. So there's pretty much, I think every slate's been a GBP slate. Chalk has been busting. We're still seems like the last week of spring training mode because we start early. Pitchers didn't get their normal spring training. I guess reps you want to call it. They're finally stretching out their pitches now. So we're it may be changing a little bit, but just cash has been tough, and you're better off going against, I think, a lot of the chalk. So we'll talk about that today. I guess it's easier to go position by position instead of trying to do all 13 games. First of all, I'm glad I just brought it up for weather. Let me see if there's any weather issues. I'm sorry, I should have had that call up. I don't think there's anything major. I usually go to Kevin Roth of Rotor Grinders.
I'm not seeing anything weather.
Yeah, I'm seeing all green, right?
We got some domes. We got Tampa Bay at home. Yankees outside. Weather looks pretty good. I mean, I think we're seeing this year is like the temperatures aren't where we want them to be for the baseball. I mean, we've had a lot of day slates.
Yep.
Not really weather issues, but it's been bitter cold on some of these games. So when it's been cold like that, I like to target the pitchers in them games. Ball's really not going to fly out of, Chicago. Wind's been blowing in. It's been 30 degrees, snow flurries. So I'm not seeing anything weather-wise out there, Pete.
And I mentioned, and I think it was Discord last night, I've never seen so many batters seems like strike out this, to this season, even against, like scrub pitchers, seeing a lot of strikeouts. Once again, the pitchers aren't going full. We're probably going to see them going a little bit fuller now as we head into this weekend now, but most pitchers are starting to get stretched out. But the first 2 weeks, we're lucky to see 5 innings, and we're overpaying for most of these pitchers. And I learned that yesterday, and I knew it before I even started. I even said it in Discord that Cease was probably a fade, but I was so afraid that he was going to be heavily owned in cash, which he was. He was like 60%, but he was fadeable, especially when you're paying $10K against a team like the Indians who don't strike out. And second day in a row, I didn't use my own knowledge. The night before that, I was all over Logan Gilbert, and I'm going with Bassett because of masses. I've been a sheep for 2 days, so we got to get back to pretty much just going with our knowledge.
I did the same thing, man. I was on Gilbert all day long,
and
everything looked so good, but the ownership on Bassett was coming in, and
yes,
I felt that if I didn't have Bassett and he goes off for 35 DK points,
and he's been pitching good
Gilbert down here, I think he finished 23 and a half or something, I lose. And it totally it bit me. And
soon as the first batter, the Giants first, I was at my daughter's my daughter was in the state playoffs for flag football, and I was at their game, and I was watching on my phone, and I said the first batter, my stomach went. I said it's over. I knew it was over then. I just saw it. And even Bassett said after the game that he was pretty much, it's almost like the Giants scared him, and he even said it. There's something about the Giants team, and they're a good hitting team. They're just a really good team, and he was kind of intimidated. He was said it in his presser afterwards. So once again, that takes you back to, this is more, as we maybe get into May, it's going to change, but this is more GBP-ish to me. And I did that last night. I went more GBP last night in the night slate, and I did really well. So just keep that in the back of your mind. We'll still be talking cash because cash is still the thing in DFS. I still will be playing some cash games, but I'll be looking more at stacks and stuff too. So, and you're a GBP player, so you'll have some stacks today we'll talk about. But let's get into pitching. Yep. I'll let you want to go first. Or want me to go first? Who's your favorite pitcher tonight? But so once again, there's not one person that jumps out says you have to have it. Maybe JV, but the price, he's going up against a tough lineup. So
yeah,
who are you looking at?
So I kind of sent you a message before we got on the show. Man, this pitching it's kind of ugly. If I had to go anywhere up to the top, I would. Kyle Wright's numbers for Atlanta.
Yep.
But I thought about this last night as well. Is that Marlins teams getting out of Florida and getting into some open air stadiums like Atlanta where the ball can travel. And that Marlins team can be very pesky, as we know, Pete. It's won us some money in the years past.
Yeah, so I won more money with the Marlins than anybody, I think, in MLB.
Yeah, and but if I have to go to anybody to the top tier, it's got to be Kyle Wright. His stuff has been on. I think he went 89 pitches his last game out. I think he scored over 20 DK points in every start this season. Yeah, he's been over 20 every start. His last start against San Diego, he went 92 pitches with 9 strikeouts. That Florida team can strike out quite a bit. So, I mean, I would have to put Kyle Wright as my number one pitcher play today. And
I agree. I think
you got a couple teams coming out of Colorado, the Rockies and the Phillies in their first games out of Colorado, the air difference there. And I think I'd have to put Scooble up there as well. This Colorado team isn't got the power that it used to. They've traded away a lot of their pieces. And Scooble, man, he's a high strikeout guy, as we've seen him mow down in Kansas City just the other day. Everybody was on Kansas City going against him, and I think he struck out 7, went 6 1/3 innings maybe. So I'd have to put Scooble up there, and then you got some mid-tier that isn't too bad either. You go down to, what is it, Kopech for the White Sox.
I think you were copying my list. I think you were. We're on most of the same players there. Yep.
Kopech. Yeah. See, Kopech, right? That's what you taught. This is one thing you guys taught me back when we was with the Steam days, was your first look is usually your best look. When you're going into the slate, you can feel your gut around. So starting pitcher, and I think I'd messaged you that earlier. Today, I think starting pitcher is key to winning a GPP today. You don't have to go up to JV up at the top. I mean, like you said, he's in a tough matchup. You got Corey Kluber going up against the Red Sox. I don't ever like to target the Red Sox lineup. Then you would drop down to like a David Peterson against Arizona. I think you can manage not playing JV today, and it's not going to burn you. But look at his price tag at 10.5 on DK, when you could go down to Kyle Wright at 9.3 and pair him with a Scooble at 8.6 or a Kopech at 8.4. You got Brad Keller down there as well. But that for top end, that's kind of what I'm looking at. I didn't really see a lot at the bottom end, but I was interested in getting your takes because you got some big names down there at the bottom half, but they're just not. They've lost velocity. They've lost different aspects of their game, like your Kyle Corbins and your Jameis Talons and Trevor Rogers, Ross Stripling. I mean, you could target Ross tonight with the Astros, I believe, as well.
Well, it seems like one of the only players that his velocity has gone up. It seems to be Wright, and I'm with you on Wright. I think what I'm seeing right now, ownership. I'm still seeing JV carrying the ownership. It's like 30%, but that could totally change during the day. These are early numbers.
Yeah.
But I think I'm with you. And like, and how many times have we said it happens even like that during college basketball season where, damn it, if I just played my first look lineup, it's always if I. I'll show somebody early lineup next. You don't play it and it crushed. But looking first look, I'm on you with Wright. I think he's in a great spot. Now, if I'm going to pivot off of Wright to GVP, to me the big boomer bust play today is Freddie Peralta. He's been playing, pitching terrible. I mean, his numbers are terrible. But then I was looking at his swing and strike rate. His BABIP is through the roof, which is showing he's been very unlucky. So positive regression has got to be coming with Freddie Peralta. He's still 8.9. So Philly can be tough though. I'm not saying you can't play Peralta in cash, but if you're playing 10 lineups, you got to get Peralta in some lineups. I think he's a very good pivot. Off a guy like Kyle Wright. You can't go. I mean, JV still JV. He should be able to get you 20 DK points. I'm assuming, but I don't mess with Toronto like you said. So we're agreeing there. Kopech, I think, is going to be popular at 8.4. I think the biggest problem with him is almost like the Tampa guys, where his pitch count were 75 pitches the first game. I think he should be up like 85 pitches tonight, probably max. But he's got huge upside against this Minnesota Twins team because 25.5% K rate against righties, 198 batting average, 130 ISO against righties. So Kopech's in a good spot, probably be the popular play. And one other name you mentioned, who I can't believe I'm saying it again for another, I said it last week on a show, and I'm going to say it again, is this Brad Keller. And he really did well last week when we talked about him. But he's one of these guys where he lures you in, and then last year he would just bomb on us. But he's looked really good in his two starts. He's got 13 innings, he's only got 2 runs, struck out 10 and 13. So that's not bad. 11.6. The swing straight rate isn't good, but he's got his CSW is like 26.5. I look at CSW. That's one of the big numbers I look at, and that's 26.5. And the Mariners will strike out about 20%. So I like Keller. It's probably a smaller list than you would think on a 13-game slate because after that, Zach Gallen. I think Zach Gallen's in a decent spot, right? We all know Zach Gallen's a good pitcher. And
yes.
I was between him and Flexen. And I wrote Gallen up earlier in a value article where his first start, he was really well and quietly against the Mets. That was the game last week, I think it was against Carrasco. I think it was Saturday. And limited pitch count. He only gave up, tossed 4 scoreless, 66 pitches. Should be up to maybe 85 pitches tonight. We know Gallen's talent. He only gave up 2 hits against the Mets. Looked really good. And the Mets offense is hitting 140 career against Gallen. And Chase Field actually has been a better pitcher's park than Citi Field. And he's home today. So Gallen, I will be interested in GPPs. Maybe a little Flexen. I mean, there's so many ways to go here, but I think the main ones I'm looking at are, I'm right with you. Kyle Wright, Keller, What's your thoughts on? I'm not a Julio Urias guy, mainly because they mess with him. He never seems to go too far. Struggled, which it was Coors though. Looked good against your Reds though. His next start shut them out for 5 innings, but he's not the first pitcher to shut the Reds out. What's your thoughts on Urias? I'm not a Urias guy. I have him on a bunch of seasons long, but
So we did Easter on Saturday at my daughter's house and grandkids and stuff, and I watched the Reds game and I watched Urias just completely. I thought he pitched great. He pitched a gem against us, in my opinion. I mean, I'm not sure what his pitch count. The Dodgers have always been weird about his pitch count. It seems like they've never let him like get up into the 90 or 100 pitch area. Now, his price tag at 10-1 going up against this San Diego team, ball doesn't travel the greatest in San Diego, but some of these Padres have been hot right now. Manny Machado's just torching the ball right now. You got Cronenworth, even though it's a lefty on lefty, that kid's a stud. He's just a stud. So I would kind of proceed with caution with Urias, especially with that price tag. He's only $400 cheaper than JV, and he's not, in my opinion, not even close to that kind of caliber of pitcher. But if I'm going to go all the way to the bottom tier and try to load up on my bats and do maybe like a Brad Keller pairing with this guy. So the last few days, the New York Yankees have been in Detroit. And Pete, I know you're a big Yankees fan, but some of these fly balls, man, it was like it was hitting a wall when it got to the outfield and just dying.
Just dying, right?
So you can go all the way down to I'm not sure on his pronunciation of his last name, but Antonio Sensatellis.
Sensatellis, yeah, for Sensatellis, I guess, for Colorado.
Yeah. So in his first start, he had to face the Dodgers. And as we all know, this Dodgers team is just loaded from top to bottom. He didn't really get stretched out. He went 66 pitches. In his next start against the Chicago Cubs, he went 5 innings on 86 pitches. He's 5'8". What am I looking for? I'll take 10 DK points from him against the Detroit team that, they're Detroit. They haven't burst open yet. They haven't did nothing spectacular. The weather's kind of chilly up this way. I'm in about the middle of Ohio, and I think it's like maybe 47 degrees today. So I'm thinking that maybe the weather is going to still be kind of chilly in Detroit. It may have a breeze. That would be my as low as I would go there at 5,800. Other than that, I don't really like too much over, like you said, Zach Gallen. Great. I think he's got good stuff. His matchup is tough, but he's at home.
Yep.
Mets traveling across the country, that could set him back a day or so. So I could see the Zach Gallen. I don't really like anything else. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything other than that. That's pretty much all I have for pitcher right there. I have Kyle Wright at the top, Skubal, Kopeka, Keller, go all the way down to Sensatella, and maybe even sprinkle David Peterson into that mix with the Mets.
I think that's a good call too. I did a bunch of research on Peterson last Saturday, or last Sunday, because Taiwan went down and Peterson came up, and we all know Peterson. When Peterson came up, he was really well there that first year, and then he, hit a skid last year. But he does have some stuff. So I agree with you a little bit there on Peterson. I think Peterson's in a decent spot too, especially once again who's he playing against. Everybody's in love with the Diamondbacks right now, but they had a big game, won a bunch of people money on, was it Wednesday? And then yesterday it hit a couple bombs. I mean, it's a good young team, but once again, it's still a Diamondback.
So to touch on that a little bit, I've paid attention to this season. Some of these teams, like my Reds, they did a fire sale right before spring training happened. I mean, it was gut wrenching when you lose pieces like Jesse Winker and Castellano. I mean, you traded these guys away right before spring training, and now we have this skeleton team out there. So I start looking at, okay, so what teams are we going to pick on this season? And it's early. Usually we want 2 or 3 weeks of data to come in before we can really zone in, and cash games will become more consistent once you have a lot more data to go off of. So they're coming out of Washington Nationals. And if you look at the Washington Nationals, their starting pitching staff is not good. I mean, they're relying on Kyle Corbin as like their ace.
Exactly.
And their bullpen, if I'm not mistaken, I think I looked the other night because I was on the Arizona stack. They only had one lefty in their bullpen. So other than Kyle Corbin, or Patrick Corbin, they don't really have much else. And now they have a tough matchup in this Giants team where I learned my rule with playing Bassett the other night, and I've always wondered why I never target the Giants. These guys don't strike out enough. They put the ball in play consistently. It's never like a 1-2-3 strikeout inning when facing the Giants. So looking at this weekend's slate, I mean, you got the Giants facing the Nationals. I don't think too many people is going to be on this Giants. So for those people listening this right now, Giants stack, just even if it's $1 tournament on DraftKings, 50-cent tournament, run that stack a few times this weekend. I bet it pays off for you.
One of my top value plays is from that game. It was from that game too with Austin Slater. Should be leading off. Even though he'll get pinch hit for it probably. But and a facing Corbin tonight. So
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Like nice call. That's one of my top stacks too. So all right. I mean, we can sit. There's 26 pitchers, so we can sit here and go on these pitchers all day. Yeah. And it looks like me and you all day. on the same page, I guess. So to sum it up, JB still JB. He's going to be probably going to be popular in cash. I'm probably more team fade JB just because I don't mess with Blue Jays and his price. But once again, he can still nuke the slate. Kyle, we both like Kyle Wright. Freddie Peralta as a GPP play. Tarek Skubal. You hit on Skubal. I think Skubal is a special pitcher, and you're starting to see that potential. I mean, his first 2 outings, he's got a 10.1 strikeout to walk rate. That's damn elite.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Getting the Rockies out of course. So I think he home favorite too. That over-under is only an 8, what I'm seeing. So nice call. That's a really good call on Skubal and Mikey Kopech, Brad Keller. And we can drop down like a Zach Gallen. I think that's our top pitchers tonight. Cash is gonna be tough. I said this is a tough cash slate to play. If I was gonna play cash, I may end up going to JV, I guess, possibly. Depends on what kind of value you can get. Maybe like a JV and a Wright, something like that, or JV and a Kopech, because Kopech's only 8.4 and Minnesota really struggles against righties, something like that. But just pay attention to Discord later on, and I'll have my top plays out as we get closer and we start seeing ownership coming through.
My thing is, the more I look at it and look at these teams, like I said, teams that go into Colorado tend to struggle the first night playing in Coors. And then when they're coming back out of Colorado, some of these teams will struggle them first couple series, like especially if you're on the road. Like the Phillies coming back into Philadelphia today to play a game. I'm not saying that 100% every player is affected by this, but it does have like a little fog that leaves over the team. And the more I think about it, I may end up being Scooble may be my number one tonight. I'll have to dig into some more numbers later this afternoon.
I can definitely see that too. Definitely. Just
But
those numbers
I mean,
now,
if you're
man.
playing cash, I see where you're saying JV's going to be up there, but I could almost pivot to Scooble and save $2,000 to spend.
Definitely. Yep.
As my number one. I mean, JV's matchup against Toronto, I don't know. It could go. It's either going to be a lights out performance, or he could get lit up and be out by.
Yep.
So
one more name, and then we'll go to batters. Is he's facing the Orioles? Reed Detmers. Reed Detmers is only 6,700.
Mm-hmm.
Big favorite. Maybe it's 187. So, and Orioles, one of the worst offenses. I mean, I think they have the worst WOBA in baseball, or maybe the second worst. Striking out 27% of the time. So, decent spot for Detmers at 6'7".
Yeah.
Wasn't there somebody that was minimum price pitching to? I can't remember earlier that, like, if you really want to get the Oler kid, I guess, if you really want to get different, Adam Oler for Oakland and Oler and Otto for Texas. They're your two guys. And you mentioned Sensatella. So Sensatella had those guys under 6K. I think I don't mind your Sensatella call, especially because we know Detroit really struggles.
So this Glenn Otto kid, didn't he come up last year towards the end of the season for the Rangers? And there's if I'm not mistaken, I think this kid was like a pretty high prospect pitcher, if I'm not mistaken. And I believe that we played him towards the end of last season to get a couple minimum price pitchers to load up on a lot of them bats that were really taken off in them stacks. And I'm seeing he's just being called back up. So I may have to dig into him a little further after we get off here just to see. But I could always later in Discord, I plan on transferring my notes over there and kind of putting a little player pool if you have it. I'm a GPP guy, so usually max out the $20 max tournament on DraftKings, and then I sprinkle in about 10 or 20 in the $15. I got goals this year. I'm chasing that 100K. I've hit all these other big prizes. The only thing I haven't gotten was that 100K hit, and that I told my wife the other day I'm chasing that 100K this season in baseball. So
you've had some good hits too. I mean, I know you had some really good football hits, and one year I remember baseball we were both at like 30K in the reg, and then kind of fell off a little bit this year.
It's optimizers, man. These optimizers are getting really good out there. And when you're MMEing, I've learned. I go in there and everybody I hear conversations between the different touts of you got to be different. You got to be different. So what I do is I take the optimizer and I just put my own projections in, and I eliminate teams and just condense my player pool and run my numbers. And I won't run exactly what the optimizer's spitting out, but it helps. It helps when you're MMEing for sure. Like I said, I'll probably list a player pool that I'll be playing tonight. That way some people in chat, they can kind of look at different plays that I'm looking at as we start getting more data on some of these batters and some of these ballparks and different things. They took the humidor out. So
in a slate like tonight, you definitely have to start exiting some teams out. But
13 games. Don't try to get a piece from every team because
unless you are doing 150 teams. But I called up Otto real quick as you were talking, and you're talking Otto, right? The kid from Texas, and his first game against Houston, he had 7 strikeouts and 70 pitches, and then so he was decent. He got blown up 2 games against Oakland and Houston. I think he pitched like 5 games, so he had like 2 decent games, and he got really smashed against Oakland, and so Houston saw him a second time around like a week later, and they blew him up 2 weeks later.
Okay.
So
I knew one of the. So last year, I I got on a hot streak right there towards the end of the season, and I knew I had a younger kid, and I happened to see his name on the slate when you mentioned him. I was like, I didn't even see him down there. I believe that he helped me ship a couple tournaments last year with that big performance where he had the 7 strikeouts.
Yeah, it might have been. He had like 25 DK that game. So, and Baltimore had 18. All right, so
Yeah.
that's pitching. So we can beat a dead horse here. Let's go around quickly. Two positions. Got like 25 minutes or so. So catching. Let's start at catcher real quick. Give me your top catcher of the slate. Or if you have any value plays, let's see who's chalk and who's not, and we'll move on.
My top catcher on tonight's slate's probably going to be Will Smith with the Dodgers. As long as he's in the lineup, I think he'll be in the lineup. This kid's he's a good hitter. He really is a good hitter. I would probably go to Grandal as well. I like to use Grandal when he's hitting from the left side of the plate. That's where he generates a lot more of his power. And he's going against this kid from this youngster from Minnesota, going down a little bit further.
There's gonna be one chalk here. I just noticed out right away. It's gonna be chalky.
So, who is?
Denard is 2K again.
Jeez,
I don't know what they're doing with the Braves, what DK is doing with the Braves here, but you got a chalk Denard at 2K from what I'm seeing. That's ridiculous. So he's probably going to be that's where everybody's going to go. I mean, Tucker Barnhart looks like he's in a decent spot. I don't think I'm one of your old guys who are from the Reds. I played Tucker Barnhart a lot in DFS, but he looks like he could be in a not a bad spot if he gets a start tonight. But tonight 2-2 going up against Rogers. Rogers in Miami. Rogers was really good last year, but he's struggled a lot out of the gate this year. So
yes. That makes me want to look. Since you're saying the Braves, I just want to look at this real quick.
Matt Olson's cheap again. Azuma's cheap.
Why are these guys? What's going on with that?
I don't know. You think they know by now? I could see if it was a one-day mistake, but now it's like a week later.
Yeah, you got to go with the chalk and your savings. You got a platoon advantage there.
And he hit a home run the other night. It's not like the guy, and we all know Donald's a good hitter and 194 ISO last 2 years. Like I said, you got the splits. That's gonna be the play. It's gonna be, but you want to be different. I like Joey Bart. I think if Bart gets a start, I'm a big Joey Bart guy.
Yes, he just hit a home run the other night for me as well.
Me too. Yep, I played him too. I like the Mejia kid for Tampa. I think I always like to play him. He's one of my big spring training guys every year. Last 2 or 3 years, I've played Mejia a lot. But that's where the masses are all going to go to Travis Denard. You can't blame him, I guess. DK really dropped the ball on that one. So I like the call. I like the Smith call. I think that's one of your top. Grandal's probably the top play. I would think personally. Sean Murphy is smashing the ball against Otto. I always like Will Smith though, especially against righties, right?
Yeah. And I'm just looking into Joey Bart. It looks like he's got a blister on his finger. Wait for lineups to come out. They should. They'll be out in plenty of time to see how he feels. But I'm seeing it says a day-to-day, and he's got a blister. But yeah, I'm with you right there, Pete. I didn't realize that the Braves. How did I miss the Braves being mispriced again? So I'd go down to Travis there at 2-2, and then like you said, got Will Smith, Murphy, Grandal, Zuno's in there. Well, what's Zuno? No, I'm not targeting Zuno. He's I think he's 4-2. No thanks. Mitch Garver there at 3-7. Mitch Garver, that kid can whack it too. He's a good hitter. But yeah, there's a lot of games tonight, so you'll kind of have to condense your player pool there. But you hit it. You hit it right there. I mean, the chalk's going to be down there at 2-2 with Travis, and then you could sprinkle in some of your other ownership is going to come in low. You're going to get Will Smith,
which is good.
Single digit ownership tonight with Atlanta being chalk.
Totally agree. Carson Kelly, you like playing Carson Kelly against lefty. Great splits, 398, Woba, 267 ISO. So I don't mind playing him. He's 3,400. So Grandal's gonna be popular, and Travis Denard. All right, let's get off first base. Unless do you have somebody else?
No, you're good. You hit them all.
All right, let's jump to first base. And I'm seeing first base is stacked.
Yeah.
You know, one guy who may not be popular, who just because, and you already mentioned the team, this name has jumped out at me. Darren Rough at 2,400. So that, I mean, you usually like to pay up at first base. Mancini's really cheap though too, but you know, that might be different is going to Rough because he's an everyday player this year. We don't have to worry about the platoon. And last year he was always getting pinch hit for. Yeah. So especially now the universal DH. I like Rough as I like Slater too in the outfield, but Rough is having, not a great start, but I think that he's in a really good spot against the lefty Corbin, who struggles against righties big time. So Ruff's probably one of my favorite values. Now this is an all-star game lineup. We're looking at Ohtani's, Freeman's, like Rough against Corbin. Anybody that really jumps out at you? Matt Olson, like 4-3. It's lefty on lefty, but still, it's Matt Olson.
Yeah, Matt Olson at 4-3. I don't know what DK's pricing is or what's wrong with their pricing. So if I was looking at some value, as you were speaking on Rough there, of course, I like the Giants this weekend. I'll be playing some Giants lineups. But if Rough would happen to become chalk for whatever reason at his price, you could pivot up right above him at Josh Naylor with this Indians team.
I have him as outfield. I forgot he's first base eligible too. There you go.
Yeah, he's first base eligible. He's going up against Talon tonight that is broken. And I think he was broken last year. But once they've taken the sticky stuff away, this guy all of a sudden cannot throw. He's lost everything. And it's unfortunate that he's been getting roughed up already this year. And then he's facing one of the highest run total teams. I mean, these Indians have been putting up some runs this year. I just watched them play last weekend against the Cincinnati Reds, and they scorched us. Then they turn around and put up 10 against the White Sox the other day when everybody was on chalk White Sox. So you could go Josh Naylor, Trey Mancini. He's up there at 2.7.
That's wrong too.
And he's got the platoon advantage against Detmers. Eventually, this Baltimore team's going to hit. I'm shocked to see him starting out of the gate slow, but they're going to get it together soon. But he's 2.7 and he's got upside. We know what his upside is. So playing tournaments, it might not look good on paper because Trey Mancini's only averaging 4.4 DK points, but we know there's upside there. So some of the value that I was seeing right down there.
Mancini's one of my favorite too. With I didn't realize Naylor's had 2 hits in every game since you didn't realize this kid's come back from what he broke his right leg and ankle and tore ligaments, multiple fractures, and he came back on the ground running, man. He came back with a week ago. He's really hitting the ball. So I like the Nailers. I like the Nailers call too. Ohtani's gonna be the popular play still. Against Zimmerman, who's pitching really well though. We didn't mention him as a pitcher, but I think Zimmerman's pitching well. And I have one more call is Matt Davidson. Now he came up yesterday. He was crushing it. He was crushing in AAA. The thing with Davidson, he's either gonna strike out or home run. That's what he is. But 2K, with the splits advantage against David Peterson. Definitely for GPPs, and I think Davidson's also third base eligible. So you got first or third base eligible, minimum price 2K. If you want to really like go with JV and an Ohtani in your lineup or something.
Yeah, them top guys, we shouldn't have. Everybody should know your Vlad.
Right.
Even your Vlad, you're going to get Vlad at low ownership today. I'm just saying he's 6'1", and you're going to get him at single digit ownership going against if JV's chalk.
Yep, and he hits righties. He hits righties better than lefties.
Yeah. So, and you got Anthony Rizzo up there. I know the Yankees aren't hitting, but yeah, you can go up top. We don't really need to spend a lot of time up top. People should know.
All right, so let's move on a second. Our top values in a first base. We said we like Rough, we like Mancini,
Naylor,
and Naylor. There are our top guys, and then you have all the usual suspects like the Otanis and stuff. So
yep.
Second base looks like the popular play right now, and nobody's running away with it. Is right now I'm seeing Marcus Semien with the highest ownership between like 12 and 15%. And Semien really hasn't been hitting the ball that well. But 4-1 against this older kid, definitely a good spot is Semien. I like tonight is Albies, only 4-6. You play Albies against a lefty, and it's Rogers from Miami, who has said it was really struggling right now. So, and I had Rogers' numbers up. I said last year, I remember that game last year when he pitched when DeGrom had a huge game, but when Jazz hit that home run off DeGrom like in April, and Rogers was just as good as DeGrom. But this year, though, he's really really struggled a lot, and he's allowed 7 runs in 12 innings. In fact, he allowed 7 runs in 1.2 innings against Philadelphia when he imploded. He imploded in that game. So you want Albies as my top play. Semien's going to be popular, and then there's a bunch of places you can go down. Anybody that you see that you like there at second base?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to agree with you there. Ozzy Albies is probably gonna be my number one.
Yep.
He's just in a good spot. He's cheap. He's 4-6, so I could see playing some Albies. Just kind of looking through the top tier. I can't do 5,500 for Jazz Chisholm there. I can't pay that price tag for him. Just kind of looking through second base. Second base is kind of tough, really. You could play Estrada from San Francisco in that stack platoon advantage. He's 4,200. He'd be a pivot off of Semien. If Semien's going to be chalk, people are going to look right above him and see Estrada, and they're not going to click his name at 42.
You're right. That's a good call. Yep.
So he'll probably be in my Giants.
Estrada's got a decent little stick too.
See, if people are watching this video, these Giants are popping up against this Washington team, and they get Corbin out of that game into that bullpen, and that bullpen's ugly. I'm telling you. So just kind of looking down through, I don't really see anything. I could maybe if Goodwin would be in the lineup for
Sheldon Noose is probably the only name I notice.
Yeah,
he's sitting now 4 straight games, and he's been hitting. I mean, he's hitting 368 in a season with home run 8 RBIs. So he's only 3K. He's like the only one that's really jumping out on Keston here. If Kemp leads off, he's always decent. But I like the Estrada call. I like that one.
Yep.
Glaber. I mean, the Yankees are eventually going to hit. Glaber's really cheap against Eli Morgan. The Yankees should smash Morgan, but I need to take a break here from this Yankee stack. So, of course, as soon as I take a break, they're going to go off.
You could always go down to Arias there with Minnesota. I know we like Capecchia, but Arias there at 3K. This guy's just a hitting machine. He's not going to go out and he is not going to hit you a home run. Yeah, he's not going to hit you a home run. But at the end of the day, that guy could get 3 or 4 base hits, maybe a couple doubles in there. He's just a pure hitter. But that's about as far as I can go down there at 3K. I'm not going to go down to Gavin Biggio. He's not hitting right now.
No, I almost feel bad for the kid.
He's really struggling. Just looking down at the bottom, there's just really nothing I see down there. You could actually, I take that back. if you're stacking the Indians, if you are stacking the Indians, you got Ernie Clement down there at 2,100. And he's probably going to start because they just had an injury to Owen Miller. So you could see Ernie Clement in there playing at 2.1K going up against the Yankees. I will have a Cleveland stack tonight, and he's going to be in there.
All right, good call. So Clement, we mentioned Noyce, Semien, Glaber, Albies. All right, let's go on third base. We're running out of time here. The problem is the slate is so big we could talk for 3 hours.
Oh yeah, we could spend all day talking.
Let's go third base. Right now, what I'm seeing on top of the ownership board, and I thought it was a sneaky play, and obviously I was wrong. Is I love Wilmer Flores against lefties, and he's playing Corbin, but I'm seeing him right now heading the ownership right now. Him and the bringer of rain, Josh Donaldson, a little bit below him. I'm not messing with Donaldson against Wright, even though he seems like he's hitting a little bit better. We got Brad Miller there. To me, I love J Ram. If I had the money, I'm playing J Ram. J Ram right now to me is having a historic season. He's already had 2 grand slams. I think he's the best player in baseball. J Ram's my guy. Machado's also up there too against Urias, but I like Machado. Machado's hitting the ball really well, and I like Wilmer Flores. I'm a huge Flores guy against lefties. So beside that, give me one of your two value guys you think are going to make a difference. You got Matt Davidson sitting there. Jack Mayfield. I like Jack Mayfield a lot for Los Angeles. Who you got?
I got I'm going to keep playing Bobby Witt Jr. for Kansas City. I've played him all season. The kid, like pure hitter, great athlete, good ball player. He might be struggling to the coming into the show this year, but he's going to get together. I mean, this kid's an elite talent. So I'm not worried about him. I could always go right back to him.
I agree. Totally agree.
Franco's down there at 2.8K going up against the bare minimum pitcher for the Giants. I think his name's Adam Long. I could see him coming maybe into play. Like you said, Jack Mayfield. Mm-hmm. He's sitting down there at 2.6K just staring.
I like that kid.
So yeah, I could see that. I could go to them guys, but yeah, Bobby Witt Jr., I'm going to keep playing him. Franco, I'm going to sprinkle in some Jack Mayfield. I like that call, Pete. And then you could go up to, if I had to go up to the top, it's going to be J Ram, Machado. You could play Max Muncy. He's okay, but he's got a big boy price tag. Anthony Rendon is sitting right there. Justin Turner sitting there at 4K even.
Muncy looks like a FanDuel play to me at 3,200. Not DK, right?
Yeah. But third base, that's really all I have. Third base is kind of pay up or pay down option for me.
Agree. Shortstop, and then shortstop. We always have some pay downs at shortstop. We got this Pena kid. We got the kid from Colorado. So right now, shortstop who's eating the ownership early in the day though is Trey, and then Mauricio Dubon from the Giants. You got Corey Seager against a righty. You can definitely play Seager against a righty. I like the Pena kid. Pena kid's now 4-2 though. Mm-hmm. And then you got Wander, you got Lindor, all these guys. Who's your fave at shortstop? Like your top shortstop, and like a value play you like a short?
My top pay up option for shortstop. Let's see. Let me go through here a little bit. Corey Seager's in a good spot tonight. I think. He's just an elite talent. Rizzo's sitting there. He's a little high price at 4.7, but if you're going to go with that Indian stack against Talon there, Rizzo's sitting there at 4.7. I like going down low. I mean, I'm seeing Dansby Swanson sitting at 2.5.
Come on, this is
if I don't know. He's one of them plays that going up against Rogers, platoon advantage at 2-5.
He'll lose one.
And you don't play him, and we don't think he's shocked. I need to check on that ownership later in the afternoon and see what he's coming in at.
Yeah, I'm not seeing high ownership, but that's wrong. You're going to see a high ownership on Swanson at that price. There's no way.
So I could go down to Swanson at 2-5.
Nick Gordon, he's good against righties. He's only 2-1. He's going against Kopech, who we like, but Gordon's not a bad spot.
No, and I like this. How do you pronounce his name? Is it Giorgio Mateo for Baltimore?
Oh, Jorge Mateo. I guess it's Jorge Mateo.
He's coming in at 2-6, and he's got some pop.
Yes, he does.
He's got a platoon advantage against Detmers.
Yep,
so down low, that's kind of what I'm looking at. And then, of course, you got your spend ups. You got your Trey Turners. You got your Tim Andersons. You just got your normal pay up spots. Depending on what Crawford is batting, I kind of wish he wasn't 5.1K on DK. Brandon Crawford, lefty, but Brandon Crawford's just he's a good talent.
Yep.
So
you play him against lefties, gonna be a little.
Yeah, you can play him against lefties, but that's really all I got there at short.
All right, and I agree. So it looks like Turner's gonna be a chalk, and a lot of people are gonna be on Dubone from the Giants. Okay, now we're in the outfield. My top outfielder today, I'm going to get Ray out of the way first, who I personally think is in a smash spot, because I like the Astros. I mentioned Pena at shortstop. Should have said it more, is I am all over Alvarez today for Houston. And he's probably my home run call of the day. I like Kyle Tucker too, but Alvarez smashes righties. Give me Alvarez. Alvarez is my top outfield play of the day. So, you got?
I don't know. I couldn't agree with you more there.
There's a lot of value too, decent value that people never heard of.
This slate is going to shape out to be crazy slate. As far as the value side, starting down low at the value, I mean, Cody Bellinger coming in at 3.1K. His bat is starting to come back into form. Yes. But then still, you're looking at these Braves, Ozuno's at 3K.
Ozuna's a lock at 3K. You got to play him right now. He's probably the hottest hitter on the Braves. 4 doubles, 4 home runs, 9 ribbies on a year.
Yeah, and he's at 3K. That's you're almost getting. It's almost like getting a elite prospect at 2K. You know what I mean? To be honest,
Austin Slater. I mentioned Austin Slater. He's my top value at 2.4.
Yeah, and that Trey Mancini call. He is first base and outfield eligible, sitting down there. So is Josh Naylor. So you got some good talent. If you can't get them at first base, you can always drop down and get them in the outfield. Adam Duvall, holy cow, at 2.4K. He is a lefty smasher. Go in and look at his numbers. He's always smashed lefties. He played with Cincinnati Reds back in the years ago. Yep. And every time that a lefty would start against us, he was in the lineup, and it was like he hit a home run, it seemed like. So if I'm going all the way down there, you got Austin Slater and Adam Duvall right there at 2.4K.
And what just jumped out at him is Corbin throws his slider and sinker the most to the right side. And Slater, against a slider, he's got a 529 ISO, 654 WOBA against a slider. So against right-handed bats, against lefties pitching slider, that's above extra elite hitting. So Slater's in a great spot. All those Braves. I mean, we can name so many names. I think Ohtani and Trout were all Trout should be back tonight. Ohtani and Trout are in good spots. Hicks, Taylor Ward's another one of my favorites. I think Ward is doing really well now that he's off the IL. And then all the other names we all know. I mean, Stans, he's eventually going to get hot. All these guys, but mainly we're just trying to find some diamonds in the rough for you guys. All right, so it's 11 a.m. give me your top stack of the day.
My top stack of the day is, man, I'm kind of stuck here. But the more that I'm looking at it, I'm going to go ahead and kind of give the watchers two stacks. I'm going to end up stacking the Cleveland Indians with the New York Giants today, or the San Francisco Giants. Sorry, the San Francisco Giants in one. And then I could probably turn around and stack up. You could stack up Atlanta with anyone.
Mm-hmm.
Their prices are cheap. But yeah, I think the more I look at it, one of my stacks is going to be the Cleveland Guardians with the San Francisco Giants.
Agree. I was going to say Cleveland too. So I like Cleveland, and mine's probably the Rangers going up against Oler. Usually don't want to stack in Oakland, but when this Oler kid, he's allowed 8 runs, 7 earned over his 2 appearances, 10 hits, 2 home runs. So, that's the type you want. And in that Ranger stack, that's where you want. It's all about Corey Seager. We know what Seager can do. So, especially Seager against righties. So I would be looking at guys like Seager, Brad Miller, Nate Lowe, and then we know Garver's a great reverse split hitter, and then we have Semien. So yeah, so I got the Rangers, you got the Indians. The Yankees may not be popular anymore because everybody's sick of them. So this will be the type of the games that the Yankees will go crazy on against Morgan and that horrible Indians bullpen or Guardians bullpen.
Yeah.
So, got guys like Hicks, the big boys in the outfield, Josh Donaldson. So eventually they're going to come through. When the Yankees come through, it's going to be a huge smash. It's going to be like 15 runs. So I'm still going to have a Yankee stack somewhere, and it's not going to be my main one. And they're not going to be in my cash. Okay, give me your home run call of the day.
My home run call of the day is going to come from the outfield spot. And I believe that I'm going on the same team with you. But I think he breaks up out of this show, and I think he hits 2 home runs tonight, and that's Kyle Tucker.
Tucker? All right.
I'm on this kid, man. I put a futures bet in on him before the season started.
For MVP?
Yeah, for MVP. I put one on him and one on Tyler O'Neill. 2 long shots.
That's all right.
But I think that they can put up some serious numbers this year.
Nice call. I'm still gonna stay with the same stream. I'm going with Alvarez. I had Alvarez one day last week, and he hit 2 home runs on me. So Alvarez, my sneaky call is Joey Gallo hits his first home run today. Home run of the season against
Joey Gallo.
That bullpen. So terrible. Watched him yesterday. He looked so lost, but eventually Joey Gallo is going to hit one, and it's going to be tonight.
If you're playing that Indian stack like I called, make sure you get Stephen Kwan with J Ram into that stack. This Kwan kid's you watch this kid at bat and you'll understand. He doesn't strike out. His plate discipline is through the roof.
He is unbelievable. I watched him in spring training a lot, and he looked really good on those Pacific Coast or the Arizona games. Played him opening day. He was like 0 for 4. I was so mad, and then I didn't play him again for like 3 or 4 days, and when he went off. So
I've played him every day.
The kid's special. So
yeah.
I said my screen went down, so I couldn't see if there's any questions or comments and YouTube. So I apologize for that. But this will be on demand rest of the day, 1 p.m. Formula One show. Me and Chris Besh, 1 p.m. Eastern time. Jeremy, thanks a lot. I really appreciate it. It's good to have you back on. We'll get you on again really soon.
Yeah, appreciate
hopefully like one day next week and talk some more GP. It went a little bit longer today, but it's 13 games. And I apologize. We rushed a little bit at the end, but we could still be talking right now.
Yep.
Good. Have a good weekend, everybody. At the end of April, good MLB season. Hope everything's well. Deuces.
I'll post some stuff in
Discord
chat later. So everybody just stay tuned, and I'll have some stuff for you guys. And I hope you guys crush, and good luck tonight.
Good luck, everybody.